Right, welcome everybody. I'm Annalisa, if you've not ever come to one of these before. And welcome to yoga today. Make sure you might like to have a folded blanket or a cushion that you can sit on for some of the seated things. We will be doing some stuff on our knees, so you might like to have a little bit of extra cushioning there. And let's see, so be starting to find yourself in a comfortable position. Now, it could be seated upright like this. I'm kind of sitting on the edge of this folded blanket to give myself a little bit of height. But, you know, if you're feeling more like starting out lying down today, that's totally fine. So you can choose what you'd like to do there. And, excuse me, as we go through the class, feel free to, if listen to your body. If something is not the right thing for you today or maybe ever, you don't have to do it just because I suggest it or call out a move. If it's not right for you, you don't have to do it, or you can change it up a little bit. I'll also often offer some extra suggestions. So yeah, so find yourself a comfortable position. And let's either close our eyes or take a gentle gaze downwards and start to come in to the space today. Start to notice how our bodies are feeling. And then start to notice the breath. Just first, without changing anything, you can just kind of notice how it feels. And then begin to lengthen the inhale and the exhale. And begin to notice how that starts to make the rest of yourself feel. Feeling an expansion on the inhale and a contraction of the lungs of the rib cage on the exhale. Seeing if you can fill the whole torso, the whole rib cage lung area on the inhale. And exhale, fully starting to feel that the balloon of the lungs deflate. And as a group, no matter what time we happen to be doing this, let's take a big deep breath in together. And then exhale together. And then let the breath return to a normal breathing pattern for yourself. And again, tune into the body, maybe giving a little scan from head to toe. And just relaxing everything that isn't needed for wherever you're at. If you're sitting upright, try to not to fully relax the muscles so you just droop down to the floor. But keep any muscles needed to sit up, keep those working, but just relax everything else. And if you're already on the floor, then probably are feeling relaxed all over. But particularly for both sitting positions, wherever you're at, I would take your awareness up to the head and face and really relax those facial muscles. Often they can find themselves in maybe a little mini frown or just some kind of unconscious scrunching. So just let the brow be smooth, let the eyebrows grow smooth, all around the eyes, the nose, the cheeks. Open the mouth just a little bit and move the jaw around. And then let it hang loose. You can let the lips touch, but let the teeth still stay slightly apart. And also relax around the ears. Notice any sounds that you might sense either around you, could be far away, could be nearby, could be so nearby that they're internal. Maybe you hear a little stomach gurgling, or you hear the sound of the breath. Notice the feeling of where the body is touching the ground. Notice the feel of your clothes on your body. Then take your awareness up into your mind. And just be aware of any thoughts, feelings, or emotions that could be passing through, hanging out. And just acknowledge them. And finally, taking everything into account, just notice yourself here in the present moment. And allow yourself to be. And allow the moment to be. And as a group, let's take one deep breath in together. And exhale together. And then let your eyes open or let your gaze rise. If you're sitting up and you've got something underneath you, you might like to slide it out from underneath you. And if you're already on the floor, well, then you're already on the floor. Make sure that you're on your back. And then if you're seated, go ahead and gently roll yourself down onto your back. And bring your arms up over your head and reach those fingertips to the wall behind you and stretch your feet to the wall in front of you. Creating some length throughout the whole body, maybe wriggling a little bit, just really stretching, reaching, making yourself long. And then bring your arms back by your sides and keeping your legs straight out in front of you on the ground. Start to become aware. You can maybe even put your hands on top of your thighs and start to think of that long bone, that big femur bone that runs from your hips down to your knees. So start to kind of have that in mind. Bring those, kind of become aware of those, and then start to imagine that now they're going to rotate in. Right? So as your femur bones, your thigh bones rotate in internally, you'll feel that all the feet, the toes turn in. And then bring the awareness back into the thigh bones and start to rotate them out. And so go through this a few times. Moving kind of slowly at first. Just thinking about rotating your thigh bones. You can let your arms come back down by the sides if you like, or you can keep your hands there if you like that to be awareness. Just starting to internally and externally rotating the legs and the hips. And those hips moving. And then warmed up. It doesn't really matter how much movement there is down the leg. Just thinking about moving those thighs. And then let that go. Take a pause. Notice how that feels. And then bend your knees, place the soles of the feet onto the floor, and then raise your right foot in the air and start to point and flex that foot in the air. Bringing some movement into the ankle and the lower leg. And then start to take your toes and foot in a circle on the ceiling, taking that ankle through a full range of motion. And then go the other way. And then shake that out a little bit, and begin to bend and straighten the leg at the knee. And then bend your knee and allow the knee to come out to the side a little bit and begin to make some circles with that knee. So now we're taking the hip through a full range of motion, making a circle. And then go the other direction. And the next time that ankle comes around, let it cross over the left thigh just above the knee. And then raise your left foot in the air. And without grabbing onto anything today, just hang out here for a moment. So this is just an active bringing the knee up a little bit closer in towards you. Just doing things slightly differently today. And then bring the left foot down to the ground and bring the right foot down to the ground and pause. And bring your awareness into the hip, into the lower leg. See how you're feeling. Now, go ahead and raise your left foot into the air and start to point and flex your foot in the air. Starting to bring movement into the foot, into the ankle, the lower leg. And then take that foot in a circle, the toes, move the toes in a circle on the ceiling so you get a full range of motion through the ankle. And then go the other way. Making sure that your upper body is soft and relaxed on the floor. And then you can kind of shake that out. And begin to bend and flex, bend and straighten the leg. Feeling that thigh warming up. And then when that knee bends, let it bend, and take the knee in a circle off to the side. You get to decide what size the circle is. Taking that hip through a full range of motion, and then go the other direction. And the next time that ankle comes around, place it over the right thigh just above the knee. And then see if you can raise your right foot up off the floor, bringing the knee perhaps up towards the ceiling. And then just pause here. And then bring your right foot back down to the ground, and then your left foot. And take a breath. And now bring your knees in towards your chest and curl up into a tight ball and rock a little bit from side to side. And maybe if it feels okay on your spine, wherever you're at, go ahead and rock a little bit forward and back. And then rock or roll or press yourself up to a seated position. And come up to the seated position with your legs crossed. And go ahead and cross your legs in the opposite direction. And take your head down, move your chin down towards your collarbone, feeling some length in the back of the neck. Take a few breaths here, allowing the weight of the head to lengthen, back of the neck. Again, listening to your body. Don't force anything. And you definitely don't want pain. Yoga is not about pain. Yoga is about breathing and awareness, mindfulness. The poses or asanas are really only one part. There's a lot of parts. And from here, you may like to gently begin to roll your ear towards your shoulder, and then bringing the chin back down towards the chest, and rolling the ear over to the other shoulder. So starting to create a little bit of a half circle. Moving gently, moving mindfully. When you come over to an ear to a shoulder, you might then direct the chin, start to move the chin up towards the ceiling. So you don't want to crunch all the way back in the neck. Just point the chin towards the ceiling so you feel that lengthening now through the front of the neck. And then take the ear over to the other shoulder. And perhaps joining, making a full circle. And then go the other direction. And then bring your head back up, upright. And just move your ear to your shoulder and back up. Ear to the shoulder and up. Now turn your head to the side so your chin turns to perhaps to the right first, then back to center, and to the left. Keeping your chin level, just looking from side to side. And then come back to center and move your shoulders up to your ears and let them down. And then bring the shoulders up to your ears and squeeze and down. Up to the ears and down. And now inhale, bring the arms out wide, and then exhale, bring your left arm across the body and hold. And if you like, if it feels okay, see about turning the head from side to side again. You might notice maybe this feels a little bit different than when you just move the head. And then inhale, open the arms out wide. And then bring your other arm across and hold. And then move the head from side to side. And then open the arms out wide. And then bring the hands down. Raise your right hand and arm up in the air. And then lean over to the left. And then raise it up. And then raise your left arm in the air and lean over to the right. And raise back up. And now move from side to side a couple of times. Feeling that side body opening up. And then come back to center and then twist towards the right. And then come back to center and twist gently to the left. Twist to the right. Moving first, don't try to lever yourself around with your arms first. Twist to the right just with your spine. And then if you like to place the hands down, you maybe passively move yourself deeper into the twist. And then come back to center. And then again, just with the torso, twist. And then maybe put your hands down. All right, come back to center. Inhale the arms out wide. And then cross your arms in front of you, giving yourself a hug. And then move your elbows a little bit from side to side. You start to feel that in between the shoulder blades. Bring some movement in between the shoulder blades into the thoracic spine. Often we're a little bit stuck in this area. And so bringing some movement in here could be a great thing. And so next time you inhale, open the arms out wide. And then cross your arms the other way. Give yourself another little hug, a little pat on the back. We're getting some movement today. Breathing. Focus that breath in between the shoulder blades. Maybe rounding forward a little bit. Move those elbows all around. Bring that movement in. Inhale the arms out wide. And then bend your elbows as you exhale. And then start to breathe normally. And make some circles with your hands at the wrist, with your hands open. And then go the opposite direction. Let those shoulders be down away from the ears. And then make a fist and make some circles now with the wrists, with this. And then go the other direction. And then shake that out. And now bring your arms out to the sides, shoulder height, excuse me. And then turn your hands palms up so your thumbs go back and maybe down a little bit. And then turn so that your palms go down. And now take the thumbs to the back again. So you feel your whole shoulder, your whole arm kind of moving out. So move through this. So instead of don't just make it at the hand. See if you can take that all the way, like when you're wringing a towel and it goes all the way. So sort of wring your shoulders out. You might even try this alternating. So your shoulder will even, as you are wringing all the way internally, the shoulder comes forward a little bit, and then as you externally rotate, the other shoulder comes in. All right, bring your arms down, give a little shake here. Shake it all out. All right, even crossing arms in front of you. Give a little clap in the front and a slap in the back. All right, fingertips on top of the shoulders. And let's do some circles here with elbows. If this is too much on your shoulders, feel free to take a break and you can come back in again. But often we need a little bit more work in the shoulders because so many times we're just sort of like this, typing. So let's get some movement into the upper body. Bring the arms out, inhale the arms out wide, bend the elbows, palms face forward. And now take the palms down. So now the fingertips point down. And then keeping the upper arms shoulder height, bring the fingertips up and back. And so take a few, these are more internal and external rotations. Doing them to both arms at the same time. Or if you'd like a little challenge, maybe you keep the fingertips up, take the fingertips down on the other side, and then play. All right, take the arms out wide, bring the arms behind you, reaching the fingertips back behind you. Perhaps you bring the palms to touch, or interlace the fingers, maybe the palms touch. And then see if you can stretch that behind you. You can always bring the hands closer down towards the hips, or maybe raising them out behind you a little bit. All right, again, let that go. Whew. I know I really feel my shoulders. I'm sure you probably do too. Let's move over to let's do a little side stretch again. All right, and so shaping that out, even giving a little, just give a little massage. Take your opposite hand, come to the other shoulder, and just give a little massage for the chest, a little squeeze, a little pat after the good work, and then just smooth that out, just brush all along your arm. Wash it down and away. All right, and then come over to the other side, do a little massage, kind of with that seam, I think that's, what is it, a raglan sleeve, or a seam. Yeah, it's a sleeve, but anyway, there might be a seam right there. So just give a little massage there, a little squeeze up into the shoulder and neck, maybe a little tapping, and then smooth it out, smooth it out. All right, shake it out. All right. So let's come to our hands and knees. And if you would like, we'll be on our knees. Heads up, we'll be on our knees for a little while. So you might like to go ahead and have a little cushion in here. And come to your hands and knees, and hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. And let's move through cat and dog. So rounding your tailbone, rounding your spine, tucking your chin in towards your chest, curl yourself into cat, and then gently lifting the tailbone, lifting the chin, the belly starts to drop down, and you're into dog. And so just moving back and forth, starting to bring some movement, some warmth into the spine, forward and back kind of away, flexing and extending. You might inhale as the belly drops down, the chin lifts up, maybe exhaling as you round up. But if the breath doesn't go that way, that's totally okay too. Pay particular attention to the neck, especially as you round into cat. See if you can bring some awareness into the spine of the neck, the cervical spine. And then come back to neutral spine, and then start to round your spine, starting to look back towards your right hip. And maybe even bring that right hip a little bit so it's like, okay, I can see you a little bit better. And then coming back to center, and then making a reverse C shape. Glance back at your left hip, which is also peeking around to look at you. And center. So go from side to side, exploring the side to side movement. And then come back to center and round the spine up, then move the spine over to the side, then allow the belly to drop down and move the spine to the other side. And so then join that together and imagine that you're inside a giant, perhaps a giant peanut butter jar or almond and butter jar or whatever kind of jar of whatever you might like. And that using your body, you're trying to scrape the last little bit of your favorite stuff out of there, the human spatula, and go the other direction. And so again, let the neck be a part of this too. Doesn't have to be a very fast movement. You don't have to go around a ton of times. Just be mindful, be aware. Find some of those nooks and crannies, some ways that you don't tend to move a lot. Okay, so then sit back on your seat towards your heels for just a moment. You can shake out your hands if you like. And let's come to, we're going to come back to our hands and knees. I am going to, actually, yeah, I'm going to turn the side of the mat and so you can see me a little bit better. And so come back to your hands and knees and then bring your right leg out to the side. Okay, right leg out to the side. And we're trying to keep again, the hands underneath the shoulders, the knee beneath the hip, and the right leg is out to the side. And press your hands, particularly the fingertips and the knuckles of the palm, into the floor as if you're pressing the floor away from you, and begin to sit back, sit your hips back. You may not come very far because you want to keep that pressing in, keep that tension there. And when you get to a certain point, you'll lose the tension and come all the way back. So we want to keep that tension. So press the floor away, sit slightly back, and then bring yourself back forward. And then pressing in, press the hips back and forward. So this is kind of a little brain teaser because you're thinking, oh, just hips back, it's going to be easy. But you're pressing the floor away, keeping that connection, and working the hips, working the inner thigh muscles, the adductors. So do this a few times. Do this once more, hips back, and then come back forward. Okay, so your right leg is out to the side. So now pressing your weight into the left hand, raise your right arm out to the side, and then thread it underneath and reach towards the left. Your head and shoulder will probably not come down to the mat, and that's okay. Open back up, arm comes out to the side, and then reach, feeling that as if your shoulder blade is sliding away from your spine. Coming up. And so do this a few times. Moving mindfully. Once more, reach, and then reset your hand. And go ahead and reset your knee under the hip, and then sit back into a kneeling pose. Just reset for just a second. You need to shake out the hands. Go for it. Then go ahead and rise up onto your knees and take that right leg out to the side again. And this time, rotate so that your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling and the heel is on the floor. And be careful that you don't hyperextend your knee. Put a little tiny bend in the knee there, just a little one. Gently place your right hand on the thigh. Inhale, lift your left arm up, and then exhale, lean to the right. You can let the hand slide, but just be careful, don't press down on the kneecap. Breathe here. If you'd like to make a little movement with the upper body to find just what you're needing right now. And then inhale, come up. And then take this left hand down to the floor. You may need to walk it out a little bit. And the the foot that's on the floor can stay, the toes can come down. And then inhale, lift your right arm up into the air. Your fingertips reach up towards the ceiling. And then maybe the arm reaches up by the ear. Bring the hand up again, and reach. And maybe again here, maybe you add a little bit of movement here. All our bodies are going to be different. They're going to have some different needs. And if you'd like a little bit more adventure today, see if you can raise that right foot up off the floor just a little bit. And then you can bring it down, and then bring the hand down. Come back to hands and knees again, and sit back onto your seat. Now, come back to raise up onto your knees and extend your, from here, I'm actually going to turn to the side again. So you're up on your knees, extend that right leg forward, and the heel is up, the toes are, excuse me, the heel is down, the toes are pointed up towards the ceiling. And then, keeping a little bit of a bend in the knee, see if you can walk your hands forward a little bit so you get a nice, well, I feel it in the back of my leg. What you can do is you can keep a little bit of a bend in the knee, and then press, gently press, think about pressing the heel away and pressing the right hip away. Be aware of your neck, try not to have it be too cranked around. Okay, then from here, take your hands over to, probably over towards the left, and then swing your knee back, so now you're kneeling again. And take the left foot forward and bring it to a 90-degree position. And bring your hands down on either side of the foot. They'll be about shoulder width. And from here, extend or curl the right toes under. And imagining, think about the back of the thigh, the back of your right thigh, and think about pressing the back of the right thigh towards the ceiling. So you start to extend that back leg. But you're not really moving the torso, the pelvis, you're really just moving the leg. So this may not be a very big movement, and that is okay. Breathe. And then bring that right knee down, bring the left knee back, and sit back onto your seat. And so now we'll do the other side. So come back to hands and knees and extend your left leg out to the side now. Left leg to the side. And again, remember, set those palms in. Actually, it's the knuckles of the palm and the fingertips. Press those in. So you're not involving the wrists actually too much. So press away and then sit back, but keep that strong connection to the floor so you're feeling this through your shoulders, and then come back up. So this is really involving a lot of the body and the brain. So sit back slightly, maybe just about halfway, and then pull yourself back up. Remembering to breathe. I'll do one more. And coming back up, reset yourself. Now the right hand is going to press into the ground. The left arm comes out to the side, and then reach thread that arm under, reach, reach, reach. And then arm comes back out to the side. And then thread it underneath. Feeling the shoulder blade move far away from the spine. Feeling that rotation in between the shoulder blades and that thoracic spine area. Once more, reaching out to the side, letting under, reach, reach, reach. And then go ahead and set the hand back down. Bring the knee back in. Sit back up onto your heels. Give a little bit of a shake, whatever you need to do. Maybe a little smile. And rise onto your knees. And extend your left leg out to the side again. And this time, pivot so that your heel is on the ground and your toes are pointed up towards the ceiling. You rest your left hand on the left thigh, and then inhale, raise your right arm up in the air, and then slowly slide the hand away as you lean over towards the right. Maybe you rest the forearm on the thigh, but again, remember, keep a little tiny bend in that knee so you don't hyperextend. Inhale, come back upright, and then take your right hand and hand down to the floor beside you on the right side, and lift your left arm in the air, fingertips reaching up towards the ceiling. And perhaps the arm reaches up by your ear, over your head. You can lift and lower. Maybe creating a little bit of flexion and extension. Maybe, if you want a little adventure, see if you can lift the extended leg up. You can always bring it back down again. All right, bring the foot down. Slowly bring your left hand down, bringing yourself into center. Bring those knees in, come to sit onto kneeling, onto your hips, seat, hips onto heels. All right, and then making any kind of wrist things that you need to do. And so then from here, let's turn. I'm going to turn to the side. You may not actually need to move. And so moving your left leg, go ahead and extend that left leg out in front of you with the heel on the floor, the toes pointed up. And then keeping a little bit of a bend in the knee, start to lean forward, bringing your fingertips down to the ground. And then find what feels right for you. You might feel just fine where you are. Maybe you need to come back up a little bit more. If you have blocks, you could always use blocks to create a little bit more height. Or maybe you lean forward a little bit. Press the heel and the left hip away from each other without hyperextending, keeping still a little bit of a bend there. And you will likely feel the muscles in the back of the leg say hello. Okay, then bring your fingertips, your hands over to the right of the foot, and then bring the knee back in. And now, coming back up to kneeling, bring your right foot out in front, and then bring your your hands down on either side. Curl the toes of your left foot underneath. And then again, bringing your awareness, thinking about the back of your left thigh. And just move the back of the left leg towards the ceiling. Extending that leg. It may not be a big movement. Big movements don't have to be what we're always going for. What are you feeling? That's usually what we're going for. Okay, go ahead and bring that back knee down and bring the knee back in and come back to hands and knees. Last little bit here. Plant the hands in and then curl both toes under, pressing into the knuckles and into the fingertips. Press into the toes and lift your hips up, coming into a downward dog. And go ahead and move around a little bit in your down dog. Again, bringing your awareness to your head and neck. Bending your knees, knee bending them deeply, lifting the heels up, and then straightening a little bit more. Now, come to stillness and walk your feet out a little bit wider. You may actually even bring them out a little bit wider than your mat. So coming into just a slightly different kind of downward dog. Breathing here. And now slightly lift up, look at your hands, and lift one hand, perhaps your right hand, and then the right hand will reach back toward the left foot and past the left leg. And then look back up, reset the hand, lift your other hand, your left hand, and then reach it in front and past the right leg. And then reset. And do that a few times. And then come back to center. Walk your kind of heel toe, your feet back in, walk them in. And then either walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. Maybe you've got something on the floor, move it out to the side. And then hang your hands to the opposite elbows and come to hang here in ragdoll. Let your upper body just dangle. Perhaps letting the torso rest on the thighs. So bend your knees. You can sway a little bit from side to side. Just let your upper body hang, if that feels okay. Again, you can always have that support of the torso at any time, or if you've got any discomfort. Bring your hands to the floor and start to bend and straighten your knees. Hang out in this forward bend, and then straighten the knees both at the same time. And then keeping a bend in the knees, go ahead and let your torso make contact with the thighs. And then keeping the torso in contact with the thighs, press the feet into the floor, and then start to press the hips up towards the ceiling to keep contact. So again, you're pressing the feet into the floor, pressing the hips up. Maybe you move where the fingers are. Again, bring some awareness into the head and neck. and then come back up just slightly, and then bring your knees down to the floor, and then bring yourself all the way to the floor. And then bring your arms, reach them up over your head, reaching your fingertips to the wall in front of you, and your feet and toes reach to the wall behind you. All right. Bring your hands under your chin, make a little hand pillow, and just rest here on your stomach. Breathing. Noticing how it feels to be on your stomach. Noticing the belly now pressing into the floor. So you feel a different aspect of the breathing process. Now bring your hands beneath your shoulders with your fingertips facing forward and the elbows point back behind you. And on your next inhale, extend your right arm and left leg and lift them up slightly. And then come back down, reset, bring the arm back in. And then inhale, reach with the left arm, right leg, and come down. So now alternate from side to side. Feeling the back muscles working, the whole entire posterior chains working. And once more on either side. We've done both sides. Reset, bring those hands beneath the shoulders, elbows point back, bring your chin to rest on the mat, or maybe even the forehead. Take a breath. And on your next inhale, reach both arms out and the back legs out. Extend and exhale, come down. Inhale, reach. You don't have to reach very far up. You're reaching out. And exhale down. Inhale, reach. And exhale down. And then last time, inhale, reach, hold, hold, hold. And then exhale, come down. Make a little hand pillow. You can rest either your chin or the side of your face or your forehead. Breathe. Bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. And then bring those lower legs back down. And begin to move your hands back under your shoulders and pressing your hands up, move yourself up into a all fours tabletop position, and then sit back, seat towards the heels, knee into child pose. Now here you can grab that cushion, the blanket, maybe putting it in between the seat and the heels, maybe putting it underneath the tops of your feet. You could even bring it up to underneath the forehead. You can also even bring in more of those joints. Your arms could be stretched out in front of you. They could be by your side with the palms up. Or maybe the hands maybe a little pillow under the forehead. Breathe. On your next inhale, start to press yourself upright and come back to a kneeling position. Move the blanket out of the way, the cushion out of the way, and come to sit onto your seat and start to move your thighs. Let's face over towards the right. Take your knees over towards the right first and bring them into a 90-90 position. 90 degrees, 90 degrees. If this feels a little bit not quite right, you can always bring that blanket up under the seat. So letting your torso just kind of face off towards the right a little bit. Breath. And then start to walk the hands a little bit to the side and behind you, behind this right leg. And into a little bit of a twist. And this might be just where you want to be, or maybe you lean down just a little bit. I invite you to, if you lean down, then press yourself back up, and then lean down, press up, lean down, and press up. And then sit back up. If you have a little crampiness, you can always move the legs around and resettle. You can also face towards the right leg and walk your hands a little bit forward. Maybe lean down, you can press up, lean down, press up, lean down. Press yourself back up and take your right forearm and lean over, taking that right forearm down. I'm going to move the blanket out underneath you. And you might like to do the same thing. You could even bring that blanket, cushion, whatever, underneath the right forearm. So there's going to be space in between the, just around a little bit just so you can see. There's space in between the thigh and the forearm. And again, the forearm could be raised up a little bit if you like. And raise your arm, your left arm in the air, and then reach underneath. And make this a real mindful movement, reaching underneath and then opening back up. If this reaching up all the way doesn't feel good, you can bring the fingertips to behind the ear and then bring down right underneath. Really concentrating on what you feel. Don't make this just a mindless, twisty, threading of the needle. Really pay attention and make these movements count. And that way you'll know if you've gotten to a place that it doesn't feel quite right, you can make some adjustments. And the next time you thread underneath, pause here for a few breaths. Notice what you can expand. Notice how it feels a little bit different to inhale deeply in this twist. And then gently unwind, reach up. And if it feels good, you could reach the arm up by the ear. And then bring that hand down and press yourself up. And then let's rotate over towards the other side. So if you like, you can just bring the knees. And so now we'll face over towards the left. And again, if you like to have the cushion or whatever underneath your left hip, go for that. So just take a pause here in the 90-90 position and just notice what you're feeling. And then start to turn your torso more towards the left. And then bring the fingertips down, decreasing the twist a little bit. And maybe lowering your chest a little bit closer towards the floor. And then pressing the floor away. And then kneeling down. Press the floor away. And down. And press the floor away. Untwist. So now our torso is going to be facing the left. I'm kind of facing my left shin. And lift up and perhaps lean forward a little bit. This might be enough to just stay right where you are, but maybe lean down. Press the floor away. Lean. Press. Lean. And press. Let yourself come back up. And again, take the left forearm and bring it down, starting to come down, leaning over to the side. So the forearm and the thigh are parallel. And then reach up, reach those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Or you can bend the elbow and bring the fingertips to behind the ear. Reach, and then take those fingertips, thread that arm underneath, reaching through. Unwind. And reach. Do this a few more times. Always listening to your own body. And the next time you thread underneath, you're reaching, and really take a nice deep breath in and out. Feeling the expansion. And then unwinding, reaching up, perhaps reaching that arm up and back with the arm by the ear. And then bring that hand down. Gently press yourself up. Bring your legs out in front of you and come so that you're facing the short end of your mat. And place the soles of the feet on the floor. And keeping your hands on the outside of your thighs, slowly, vertebra by vertebra, start to lower yourself down. Lower. Unwinding that spine, unrolling it, unspooling it. And if you have that cushion, as you're coming down, bring the blanket or the cushion underneath your head. You'll just notice, see if that changes. Maybe you've done this before for Shavasana, but maybe you haven't. And actually, we're not going to come just to Shavasana just yet. Go ahead and bend your knees, lift the knees up towards the ceiling, and then straighten your legs, bring the feet up towards the ceiling. Bring your fingertips, bring your arms up, reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And let your shoulders come down towards the ground. So it's almost like your arms and your legs are just dangling in the air. You might let your eyes close. Go ahead and make some circles with your feet and hands in both directions. And then start to bend your elbows, bend your knees, hug your knees in towards your chest. Let your body rock a little bit from side to side. Bring the soles of the feet down to the floor and walk your feet a little bit wider. And then allow one knee to drop in towards the center and then come back up, and the other knee drops in towards the center. So alternate from side to side. And then heel toe those feet back into about pelvis width apart. And let your head rock a little bit from side to side. And then let it come back to center. Allow the legs to lengthen on the mat. If that feels comfortable, you can always you can stick a cushion underneath the knees, or you can bend one or both knees on the floor. Coming into Shavasana with the arms about 45 degrees away from the body, palms up. Shimmy the hips, the shoulders, the back of the head, until everything feels nicely balanced. And start to take a few long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And each time you exhale, feel yourself sinking deeper and deeper into the floor. Now bring your awareness to your facial muscles. And again, let your brow grow smooth. Your forehead smooth like silk. All around the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, and the ears are feeling free of tension. Let the jaw slightly open up, the teeth come slightly apart, move the jaw around a little bit. And then let the lips close while the teeth stay slightly apart. Your jaw stays soft. And allow this softening, this relaxation to just start to flow down from your head and face, down through your whole body, arms, torso, and legs. Taking some time in silence to just let all the tension evaporate, and to let your nervous system go quiet. If at any time you feel that this lying on your back is not serving you, or if it's not serving you from the very beginning, you can always do this seated, moving up. begin to deepen your awareness, deepening your breath. And begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, starting to move a little bit more, moving and stretching in whatever way feels comfortable for you. And if you have been on your back, gently bend your knees and find yourself turn over onto your favorite side. And take a breath there. And when you're ready, use your hands to gently press yourself up to a seated position. And when you come back to an upright position, gently let your eyes open. You may even flutter them open a little bit, kind of coming back into the room, into the light. And when your eyes are fully open, hopefully you're feeling refreshed, relaxed, moved all about. And I will offer a sort of loving kindness meditation, prayer, mantra. May we be free of suffering. May we have physical happiness. May we have mental happiness. May our hearts be at peace. So I thank you so much for joining me today, and applaud yourselves for showing up, for moving about, maybe challenging yourself a little bit. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much.